Hi, in this video, what we're going to be doing is basically setting up our local system so that we can access AWS resources. Uh, that would help us run a lot of commands on our command line in order to manipulate or create resources in the AWS. So the first thing is that for that, the way we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be creating a secret key and like access key and a secret. That would basically be a root access. So that is gonna let us do whatever is possible on, using the command line. Uh, it would have basically the highest privileges in order to do a lot of things. For that, you first thing we're gonna be doing is like we're gonna be creating the, as I said, the access key and the secret. For that, you would you have this your username over here, so you're gonna click that and go to security credentials. So inside your security credentials, we are going to, under the access keys, we're gonna say create access key. And I understand creating a root access key is not a best practice, but I still want to create one, and we're gonna say yes and then create it. Once you have it, you are gonna take that access key and the secret access key and you wanna note it down. You will not, I think you will have access to the access key after going away from the screen, but you will never have access to the secret access key once you go away. So you need to make sure that you copy that. So once you have that, we're gonna go to our command line. I'm gonna make the screen a little bit big. So basically, just to kind of give you a little bit background here. So we, first of all, you need to have the AWS installed uh, and the AWS command line tool installed on your computer. Then you can, if you don't know any command, you can go to AWS help, and it's going to tell you that it's a command line interface to manage. It's a tool which is going to manage your AWS services. So you have some global options here. You can tell him that if you are just debugging, you can have the endpoint URL. You can have the output. You like in what kind of format do you want the output to be, in a JSON, text table, table, YAML. And one of the very important one is a profile. In my case, I have multiple profiles, basically multiple AWS accounts. So I am gonna be using this a lot. So basically I'm telling them that which profile I'm gonna be using in order to create any resource. Region, that is an important one too. You need to have set up a region, or every time you need to tell the region in the command line if you haven't set it up. Uh, there are a lot of those which are very helpful, and then this is a list of available services. So you have an amplifier there, you have everything here. And so basically, if you want some detailed help, let's say you know something you want to do with the RDS, so you would say AWS RDS, but you don't know the command, you will say help, and it's gonna tell you, okay, the RDS is a relational database service, and there's a long description here, and then he would tell you the options. So another one is gonna be AWS Lambda help, which is gonna, again, it's gonna tell you you can create, you can add permission, you can create function, you can delete function, you can list functions. We're gonna be using this one in this tutorial too. So that's how you get the help. Do they give the examples? No, they do not. So there aren't many examples here. Okay, so the first thing is that we need to create a new profile. So I already have created a profile. So if I want to create a profile, I would say AWS configure and then the name of the profile, right? And the name of the profile, and then whatever the name of the profile is going to be, we can keep it Bore 2024. Okay, something like that. So we're gonna say another one, or what should we say? We can actually create a new profile, but I wanted to show you what is happening once you run this AWS configure and then the profile. So in my root directory here, there is another directory which is called it.aws. It's a hidden directory. It has two files, config and credentials. So we are gonna be kind of going into these two files to see what's going on there, and we can add profiles manually or using this command which I wrote, AWS configure profile and the name of the profile, demo profile. I just put a hash so that it doesn't run. Okay, so the we're gonna go through the what are the contents of that. For that, I'm just gonna go to a temporary directory. So make directory dot AWS. Again, I'm demonstrating that you won't be creating a .aws directory, or you would not be basically. I'm just gonna show you because I don't want to show the content of those two files. So that's why we are just creating two new files just to show you and share like what are the contents of these files. So so in the content, when you run AWS configure without any profile, what happens is the config is gonna become it's gonna create a default profile. So it will have a default profile, it will have a region. We're gonna stick with for the demo purposes, we're gonna stick with US East 2. And then the output, we are gonna tell him that the output is just a JSON output. Okay, that's the content which is going to be created when you run the AWS configure. The other one is the credentials. So for the credentials, uh, what happens is it's gonna basically again with the same profile name, it's gonna have a default and it's gonna have an AWS access key ID, and the other one is gonna be AWS secret access key. So that's what's gonna get created uh, when you do the AWS configure, and that would be it. That would do it. Now the other one is when you run AWS configure and a profile. If we do another demo profile, what's gonna happen? Oops. What's gonna happen is it's gonna go into the config file and create another profile. It would call it profile and then the name of that profile. So I have another profile. I'm just gonna call it Bore 2024, and then the region, which is gonna be US East 2022, and then the output, which is going to be equal to JSON. Similarly, inside the credentials, what it's going to do is like it won't have that keyword profile, but it would create just the name of the profile, and it's going to have these two things here with something basically the ones which we created, they're gonna show up here. Okay, that would happen if you run AWS configure again without any hash. I'm just putting it to comment it out. Configure profile, and then the what do we call it, bold 2024, right? So if you run that command, it's gonna create that. So I already have set it up. So the things we can do in order to run basically run different like the way we're going to be using our profile would be like whatever you want to say. Let's say if I want to list all the functions I have, the Lambda functions I have in my AWS, like in a particular region, I would say AWS Lambda list functions and the name of the profile, that which profile I'm looking at. That would be 2024. It's gonna run and tell me that there are no functions. If I go back and let's go to Lambda and create a function, we're gonna call it demo Lambda. Node version is good. We're gonna go with the default author from scratch. Yeah, sure. Create function. So this is our first Lambda which we just created. Okay, so inside the functions we have it. Doesn't have any description. Looks good to me. If I go back to this one and run this command one more time, it still doesn't show me. Did we create this one? Oh, we ended up creating it in the US East 1. So just to demonstrate how we can delete it, it's gonna be delete. We don't want that. We're gonna switch it to US East 2, Ohio, and then create a function demo Lambda and create function. Okay, if I go back, we are in Ohio and we have this Lambda function. I'm gonna run this command one more time, and you can see we have this demo Lambda. It has a function ARN, runtime role, code size, description, timeout. Everything is here. What happens if we try to delete that? And let's assume that I don't know the command. So I'm gonna say AWS Lambda help, and it does show me that you can delete a function like that. So AWS Lambda delete function, the name of the function, which is demo Lambda. The profile we are using is gonna be bold 2024. Sure, it says that the name of the function is gonna have a function name. That was helpful. So we can do function name and then the name of the function, and looks like it did it. Now if I do it one more time, that lists all the functions in my profile, I don't have any function. So that works. These were the things I wanted to cover. There are other ways in order to access if you don't want to use the access key and the secret like that, because you do have the root privileges here, and you can use the IAM roles in order to do that. So there are multiple ways in order to access AWS and its resources. Thanks for watching.